Xianxia was as innocent as a child. After crying and feeling sad, she fell asleep in Xianxia's arms. Xianxia knew that in the future, Dongfang Jing would definitely grow up, and this world was extremely cruel. Although she had always wanted to stay at peace with the world, she had been forced to come into contact with the dangers of this world for many years. Let her stay in the Zilan Mountain Valley. It's rare to see a girl as pure as water like her. It's good that she's alive like this. Bai Yuyu could not help but exclaim. Even though she and Su Meiyao were both women, they had experienced a lot of things since they were young and became strong female rankers. Although they were not in contact with the outside world and could not bathe under the sunlight inside the ring, and it was also extremely cold and desolate, and they did not have any powerful strength right now, they had to admit that they had lived a relaxed life during this period of time. Dongfang Jing woke up after a few hours. She wasn't crying right now, only sadness in her eyes. But to a girl like her, she was already very strong, and was able to recover so quickly. "Brother, this dress is really pretty," Dongfang Jing asked as she looked at her extremely beautiful white dress. "Cough cough, I got my sisters to help you change this. At that time you passed out and you were wounded. Your entire body was covered with blood." Xianxia blushed. He had peeked at her taking a bath back then, but he was very happy to have such a good girl. Dongfang Jing left Xianxia's embrace and walked to the side of a small stream. Using her tender and white hands, she used a small amount of water to wash her tear-stained jade face, then used her power to adjust her body, restoring a sliver of blood vitality to her innocent face. Although she looked the same as before, she had become much stronger. Xianxia kept looking at her, and could not help but think of this innocent and cute little sister who looked like she was hacking away at that corpse crazily. This made him a little worried that Dongfang Jing would lose his way due to hatred and become a devil lady. However, he soon discovered that his worries were unnecessary. "Big brother, don't worry about me. I will definitely take care of myself in the future, but you are the one who makes others worry." Dongfang Jing smiled, and seeing her smiling face, Xianxia's mood inexplicably became better. Dongfang Jing took the wet silk cloth and walked to Xianxia's side, gently helping him to insert the dust and sweat on his face. "Brother, do you really want to know what happened to me?" Dongfang Jing asked softly, then sat by his side with his head lowered. It was as if she had gone from a child to an adult overnight, and her mind had become more mature. "Don't think too much. Live well." Xianxia knew that something must have happened between Dongfang Jing and her father. Furthermore, Dongfang Jing's current strength was now extremely strong, because she had merged with the blood soul of the Dongfang family. Dongfang Jing nodded his head. "Big brother, you're so powerful. You've encountered so many big things, and were once surrounded and attacked by so many strong people. Furthermore, you've been disgraced by many people and cursed at them." Xianxia laughed, caressed her face and said, "Not at all. Can I be your brother? Big brother, you have to be careful in Sacred Dan Realm. Daddy and I met a very terrifying guy, and that guy he's dead." A flash of grief passed through Dongfang Jing's eyes. "My father assimilated the clan's blood soul into my body. Then, he blocked those powerful fellows. Give me some time to escape. I met the people from Purple Moon Imperial Land and Dongfang Lingyun on the way." Xianxia pulled her closer, gently caressing her hair. He said, "Since it's all in the past, I'll let Big Brother handle those strong fellows. What are they like?" "They say they are from the Divine Devil cult. Because the blood soul of our Dongfang family is something that the Divine Devil cult cannot allow, they want to kill us." Dongfang Jing said, "I will remember this name." Xianxia patted her back and said, "I'll bring you to a place. I feel that it's very suitable for you." Dongfang Jing also knew that she couldn't always follow Xianxia because Xianxia had big plans to accomplish, and she was too weak, so she couldn't help at all. She would only be a burden to Xianxia. Xianxia's injuries were more or less healed. There was no problem to bring him along on the road. "Big brother, Leng Yulan is also your recognized sister. So does that mean she's my big sister?" Dongfang Jing held Xianxia's arm and slowly walked to Zilan Mountain Valley with him. At this moment, she was much more cheerful. Of course, although your sister has a fiery temper and is quite overbearing, you will definitely treat her well. She is just like you, a little stupid. Chun Xiang knew that Lung Yulan was just a bastard, but he had more experience than Dongfang Jing. He was very experienced in battle, and when it came to killing, he was even more ruthless. When he was at Three Realms Talk, Dongfang Jing had also seen this eye-catching, white-haired, ice-cold beauty. She indeed did not look weak, and she couldn't help but want to see her elder sister. Of course, there was also Xianxia, his sister-in-law. Little scoundrel, I've never seen you be so gentle to me before. Heh. Long Shui was extremely unhappy. Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord, are you jealous? Chan Xiang laughed. Who said I have never been gentle to you before? Last time, I was very gentle to you. Long Shui let out a charming snort, and no longer paid any attention to Chan Xiang. The last time she merged with Chan Xiang's divine soul, Chan Xiang had indeed been very gentle to her. A lot of people had come to check the place where the battle with Primordius took place, but they could not find any clues. However, the matter of Primordius's disappearance had been linked together by someone. 5 days after the incident, Chan Xiang and Dongfang Jing arrived at the entrance of the Zilan Mountain Valley. As soon as someone stepped into the Zilan Mountain Valley, the guardian immediately appeared, but she did not recognize Chen Xiang. Yunju wore a set of purple robes. You too? This is the Zilan Mountain Valley? Are you looking for us Valley Masters? Yunju's voice was still as gentle as ever, although she was a fire wolf, but she looked more like a sheep. Sister Yunju, I am Chan Xiang. Chen Xiang stuck out his tongue. It's really you? Yunju said in pleasant surprise. Second sister said that you might come. I thought you came here 2 or 3 days ago. Who is this beautiful girl? Your wife? Yunju giggled, causing Dongfang Jing's beautiful face to turn red. She is my recognized sister. Let's talk after we enter. Chen Xiang quickly explained. After Chen Xiang let Dongfang Jing and Yunju get to know each other, Chen Xiang then sent a sound transmission to Yunju, informing him of their tragic encounters before. This made Yunju suddenly feel tender and affectionate towards Dongfang Jing, and he very willingly agreed to take good care of Dongfang Jing, because she was originally an orphan without any parents. After entering the valley, Chen Xiang and Dongfang Jing immediately saw a noble and dignified purple-dressed lady, who was gracefully sitting on a stone stool, holding a book in her hands. She was engrossed in reading, her moon-like eyebrows slightly knitted together. Big sis, who are you looking for? Yunju shouted. Yen Xilan immediately turned her head. Upon seeing Chen Xiang, her beautiful face was filled with joy. Following that, like a light breeze, she carried an intoxicating fragrance, becoming stronger. You little fellow, I was worried about you back then. Although her tone was full of reproach, she was really happy. Back then, she had personally witnessed Chen Xiang being beaten up into a bloody mist by Primordius. At this time, Dongfang Jing was also appreciating the beauty in front of him. Her smile and a wry smile were both extremely beautiful, although her aunt Dongfang Xinyue was also an exceptional beauty, but this was the first time she had seen the Yen Xilan in front of her. Bai Xing came back a few days ago. She said that she wanted to leave for a period of time. By the way, why did you only ask her to go? Not call us? Yen Xilan reprimanded. If Sister Bai Xing were to use that kind of sneak attack, it would be better. Chen Xiang did not tell Yen Xilan what happened that day because Bai Xing also did not say anything. The effects of the incident were simply too great. The great clan elder of the Super Yuan Mountain had been killed, and it was related to Bai Xing as well. Sneak attacks and the like. Big sis and third sis are very good at them too. Du Yenyao had tied his ponytail and was wearing soft armor. His face had a look of weariness, and a bright smile appeared on it. He was no longer the cold Du Yenyao from before. Her Du family had changed her greatly after all that had happened. Of the Zilan Mountain Valley's 4 sisters, Yen Xilan was the oldest, Bai Xing second, third, and fourth. However, Chen Xiang knew that they would soon have a 5th sister. Dongfang Jing now knew why Chen Xiang said that this place was suitable for her. She discovered that the women here were all extremely strong and they also had a lot of experiences. You are my fiancé. Back then, you ran away just like that. You really aren't worth it. Du Yenyao laughed. When she saw Dongfang Jing, she asked anxiously, "So this is the wife that you mentioned earlier?" Yan Xilan chuckled. "This is my real wife, you're just a fake. This is my recognized sister. I saved her in time. You all are aware of my current situation, you can't take her with you." Chun Xiang said. When the three girls heard about Dongfang Jing's experience and saw how innocent and beautiful he looked, their hearts filled with love for him. Especially Du Yenyao, she felt even more touched. But although he looked weak, his eyes revealed a strong light, causing the three girls to nod their heads secretly in their hearts. "Jingjing, is there anyone else at home?" Yunju asked. "There's also an aunt. She came here as well, but we were separated." Dongfang Jing looked at Chun Xiang. "They're still big brother." Chun Xiang would never tell them that Dongfang Jing's aunt was one of his female slaves. Very quickly, Yan Xilan and the other two became very close to Dongfang Jing, and there was no place for Chun Xiang to interrupt them. Seeing this scene, one thing in his heart was resolved. He found out from Fan Yakin that Yan Xilan was no longer helping the sacred dance school to manage business. And he couldn't help but want to take Yan Xilan, along with Bai Xing, Yunju, and Du Yenyao, to his dragon subduing school. Of course, he knew that Du Yenyao would not leave, because he did not know where Du Hai was right now. If he could find Du Hai and bring him to the dragon subduing school, Du Yenyao would also go there. Although there was temporarily no immortal chi there, that place would become Ditian sooner or later. Lu Menger and the others did not come here, which made Chun Xiang a little worried for them. In the current Ditian's eyes, their powers were not considered weak, but they couldn't do it here. "Yenyao, do you know where your grandfather will go?" Chun Xiang suddenly asked. Du Yenyao, who was chatting with Dongfang Jing, suddenly stopped smiling and shook his head. "I don't know. He's always like this in the past. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't even know where he would be. But I feel that he should be inside the chaotic mountain. After the Super Yuan Mountain killed my father, he immediately went to the Super Yuan Mountain. It was said that a huge battle had erupted inside, and the people of the Super Yuan Mountain declared that my grandfather escaped after being heavily injured." Chen Xiang was already very familiar with Du Yenyao now, but when she saw that Du Yenyao had changed a lot, especially his change in personality, she did not seem to be afraid of provoking him, and continued to ask, "I want to know why Super Yuan Mountain was targeted by Super Yuan Mountain. Is that all right?" "I'm fine." Du Yenyao knew that Chen Xiang was capable. If Chen Xiang wanted to ask about these things, it would mean that Chen Xiang wanted to help her. Even if Chen Xiang had not said it, she would have asked Chen Xiang to help her. "Super Yuan Mountain initially wanted our Du family to submit to them, but my grandfather was not willing. After that, the Super Yuan Mountain secretly attacked us. But when my grandfather went to the Super Yuan Mountain, some elders of my Du family took charge of the entire Du family." Du Yenyao clenched her jade fists and said. Chun Xiang guessed that the same thing had happened to the Fan family, but it seemed that the Fan family had not pledged his allegiance to him yet. "Why is the Fan family still fine? I told you about Fan Yakin and Lin Shi. Although the families backing them are all suppressed, they don't seem to be in control." Chun Xiang asked. "Because they already got what they wanted from Fan family and the Lin family. A group of experts from the Lin clan and the Fan family were all killed. There was nothing to be worried about. Even though the evil creatures of Du family sold the entire Du family, the Super Yuan Mountain still could not get it, because it was in my grandfather's hands." Now, Dongfang Jing also knew that Du Yenyao had suffered the same fate as her. Seeing Du Yenyao's face filled with anger, she held Du Yenyao's jade hands and Du Yenyao also smiled at her. Chun Xiang took a deep breath. "It looks like you're in a lot of trouble right now. That thing is in your grandfather's hands, and your grandfather's whereabouts are unknown. They will definitely come back to find you." That son of the Super Yuan Mountain kept on yelling that he wanted to forcefully marry Yenyao. "She is your fiancée. Do you have the heart to watch?" Yunju laughed mischievously. When Dongfang Jing was chatting with these three women earlier, he knew that the relationship between Chun Xiang and his wife was fake. Chun Xiang also joked, "This brat won't live for long." Who asked him to set his eyes on my fiancé? Du Yenyao scoffed, but when she thought back to the days when she was with Chun Xiang, she couldn't help but sigh secretly. Back then, when she was infected with the spring poison, and was entangled with Chun Xiang to purge the flames, this was the thing that she wanted to forget the most. However, it would often surface in her mind. After Chun Xiang left the Zilan mountain valley, he rushed towards the chaotic mountain. Previously, the elder from the Super Yuan mountain had said that a meeting would be held inside to discuss the matters of the ancient powers coming to find treasures. Those ancient powers that came from Dtian had a map of the great treasure of the chaotic mountain in their hands. The chaotic mountain was not just a mountain, but a remote place on the 18th floor of the sacred Dan realm. To enter, one would have to pass through a very dangerous forest. It was said that there was a dangerous place that separated the chaotic mountain from the outside world. There was a very strange mountain inside. It was said that it was a huge boulder that the mysterious primal chaos realm had dropped on the sacred Dan realm. So Chun Xiang didn't know much about the chaotic mountain, but he knew how to go there. The chaotic mountain was equivalent to a small world, and inside there were a few families, cities, and various forces. However, right now, the Super Yuan mountain was the strongest, so the strength of the Super Yuan mountain was definitely not weak. How are you going to find the treasure? You only have one map in your hand. Su Meiyao asked. She needed to know Chun Xiang's current plan. She did not want him to take the risk. The rest of the map fragments are in the hands of those ancient powers giants. It's not easy to get them. Bai Yuyu was the same as Su Meiyao. Right now, heading to Chaotic Mountain was extremely dangerous. Forget about the ancient powers that had gathered there. Just the entire Chaotic Mountain would want to beat him up, because he had 7 Chaos Fire Token-S with him. I'll go find those giants from the ancient factions. We've worked together before, and we've come to this place together. If the map fragment in my hand is very important to them, I think they'll definitely work together in a strange manner. Chun Xiang knew that although the great leaders were all very strong, they were not as terrifying as that Primordius. Therefore, he was confident enough to escape into the hands of the great leaders of the ancient powers. To the sacred Dan realm, it was like a sacred mountain. Before, only a few people knew about it, but now, people in the chaotic mountain often wandered around, causing various legends about the chaotic mountain to spread, making many people yearn for it but also fear it. For those who were weak, the chaotic mountain was a very mysterious and civilized place. They could only look up to it. But in the eyes of the experts, the chaotic mountain was merely a powerful world created by an ancient clan. In order to remove the veil on the chaotic mountain, many of the experts took the risk of going through a dangerous place and entering the chaotic mountain. On the way, he also met some people who were traveling together, and all of them were going to enter the chaotic mountain. It was said that there were people at the level of pill saints in the legends, and the alchemy Dao inside was extremely flourishing, thinking that there should be a lot of precious spirit medicines inside. Chun Xiang knew a little more than these people, and the legend was not wrong, because Dan Immortal Du Hai had stayed inside for a period of time. Is this the legendary forest? Blood Devil Forest. After Chun Xiang passed through a canyon, he saw a huge red tree in front of him. The pitch-black tree trunk was thick and straight, and was about 200 feet tall. The leaves were blood-red in color. The strangest thing was that these leaves were shaped like human faces. There were a lot of these trees extending on both sides like a wall, isolating the chaotic mountain from the outside world. What danger is there in this forest? It's not high and there's no mountain, so wouldn't it be fine to just fly over? A person in the distance disapproved and was about to jump up when he was pulled down by an old man. Brat, listen up. Legend has it that these leaves have absorbed too much blood and have turned blood red. Blood Devil Forest being called a dangerous place is not just because he deserves his reputation. If you want to fly over, wait for something to swallow you up. The old man's words didn't scare the young man. I don't believe that if I fly higher, what can I do? The young man glared at the old man. You're afraid of death. I'm not afraid. Initially, I thought that joining your team would allow us to get to Chaotic Mountain as soon as possible. I never thought that you guys would actually plan to stay outside of the forest for a few days to observe. This young man was extremely stubborn. Even though some of the people beside him were trying to persuade him, they were all the same. Moreover, they were all scolding him. Chun Xiang also wanted to fly over when he saw this bunch of Blood Devil Forest, But on the way here, he heard that the high altitude of the Blood Devil Forest was extremely strange. No matter how high they flew, they would be pushed down by a wave of energy. A bunch of cowards. The young man was like an arrow that had left the bow as he flew high into the sky, flying at an extremely fast speed through the air above the Blood Devil Forest. Soon, everyone could only see a dot. However, at this time, a red object suddenly shot out from the red forest and struck the young man's body. From afar, it looked like a beam of red light. After the red light disappeared, the young man also disappeared. The crowd remained silent for a long time and felt a sense of regret because the young man's strength was not bad. But he was too arrogant. Can you see what that is? Xianxia had just used Heaven Tour method, and just as he entered the air above Blood Devil Forest, the young man disappeared. A long tongue. Long Shui said, "This thing is very powerful, you can try it, but it's still very dangerous." Tongue? Is there such a long and huge stone? Xianxia suspected that Long Shui was mistaken. The world is big and full of wonders. That tongue just now should have belonged to a vicious beast. There might be many of these vicious beasts within it. So flying over from the sky would be disastrous for them. Explore the road. Prepare to set off. Xianxia couldn't wait too long. What are you afraid of? With such a powerful thing, a shrinking step, and the fusion of spatial rule spiritual bead, you are the best at escaping. Long Shui yawned. I want to sleep now. No matter how Xianxia called her, she just did not respond. Xianxia had no choice but to do it himself. Using the Heaven Tour method, he went into the Blood Devil Forest to have a look. The inside of the Blood Devil Forest was completely different from what he had imagined. He had heard that a lot of people had died inside, but there were no corpses inside, and it looked extremely beautiful, as if they were in a maple forest. There were quite a lot of people outside Blood Devil Forest at the moment, and when they looked around they could see many tents. Xianxia had mentioned to them before that if they waited patiently for the forest to turn green, it would be safer. However, Xianxia did not know how long he would have to wait. He did not have that time right now, so he entered the Blood Devil Forest alone. This made another group of people incomparably shocked, because a youth who did not listen to the advice previously had already died inside. Upon stepping into the Blood Devil Forest, Xianxia immediately sensed that there was a very powerful ferocious beast hidden inside. This ferocious beast's heartbeat was erratic, causing the earth to tremble very weakly, and Xianxia almost did not feel it. That guy should be hiding deep underground. Xianxia stepped on the shrinking step and nimbly shuttled through the forest. At the moment, he did not encounter any danger, but he felt that danger was slowly approaching. Down there, Xianxia's body trembled as he used the power of the spatial laws to allow his body to travel through space and leave his original position. After avoiding it, he turned around and saw a very large red tongue. This tongue was definitely able to roll up an elephant. His tongue was covered in blood and emitted waves of heat, as if he had just eaten someone. When the giant tongue's attack hit nothing, it immediately retreated back to the ground. Xianxia looked at the ground and actually did not find any hole, so how did the tongue come out? Xianxia suddenly sensed that there was something underground. This time, he did not travel through space, but immediately stepped on the shrinking step and teleported. At the same time, he quickly summoned the green dragon demon-slain broadsword and slashed in that direction with his blade, releasing a green circular blade chi, chopping right at the tongue that just extended out. However, this tongue was strange and hadn't been cut off. It only vibrated slightly and sent out a wave of blood mist that abruptly retracted back into the ground. Xianxia was startled for a moment, and then he quickly teleported away. The moment he left, 10 of these tongues shot over from all directions. If not for him escaping fast, he might have been caught in the crossfire by now. Along the way, he had been pestered by this kind of thing. If he didn't have so many tricks up his sleeve, he would have been swept away long ago. He had tried to strike at the tree trunks with his powerful strength, but not only did the tree trunks not crack, they had not even moved a single inch. He released another flame to burn those red leaves, but he still did not ignite it, causing him to wonder if he had entered into a powerful illusion world. What the hell is this? Chun Xiang relied on his ability to travel and was able to cross this kind of thing like a demon's tongue. Now, he understood why this place was so clean. Now, Chun Xiang did not have much energy to concentrate on that weak heartbeat. If he thought of the tongue and that heartbeat, he would feel that there was an incomparably huge monster with countless terrifying tongues down there. There were no ferocious beasts in the Blood Devil Forest, nor were there any other beasts. Just this kind of terrifying tongue was enough to make this place dangerous. Chun Xiang spent 2 days continuously shuttling through space. It was already night, and the moment he stepped out of the Blood Devil Forest, he breathed in fresh air, and at the same time, a very dense wave of immortal energy pounced on him. Even without him absorbing, it would enter his body, showing just how dense the immortal energy was. So this is the chaotic mountain? Chun Xiang looked at the stars in the sky and noticed that the starlight here was even brighter than outside. This place seems to have gotten even taller. Long Shui said, "If your previous heaven-sacred city was at the 18th floor, then this place would at least be the 25th floor." Chun Xiang took a deep breath. When he was passing through the Blood Devil Forest, due to the long journey he did not realize it, but he felt that the gravity here was a little stronger. No wonder. Chun Xiang looked at the huge mountains which were enveloped in starlight and felt a sense of shock. He had seen the most of these mountains, the biggest one he had ever seen. A cloud floated over from the distance, but it was only in the middle of these mountains. From afar, it looked like one could pick out the stars from the mountains. It's so high. Some of the mountains can't even be seen, Chun Xiang exclaimed. A gentle breeze blew past, bringing with it a tinge of killing intent. Chun Xiang's gaze turned cold. He immediately stepped onto the shrinking step and rushed forward. The instant he left, hundreds of arrows were shot over. The arrows were extremely sharp and glittered with a cold light, yet they were able to pierce through metal plates. These archers were all first-rate archers, and the quality of the bows and arrows were also extremely high-quality magical equipment. There must be at least a few hundred people hiding in this area, maybe even more. Seems like they are waiting here for people to pass through the Blood Devil Forest, waiting to ambush them. Chun Xiang was secretly furious. He had turned into a small insect and hid on the ground. Now that these people were so rude to him, he did not need to be lenient. This was a very short forest, it was very easy to hide in the dark night. Chun Xiang had already used the Heaven Tour method to find the hiding place of these people. These people had all been through years of training, so they used this kind of method to attack. These people were all dressed in black, and one of them spoke up. "Did we make a mistake? There's no one there? That's not right. There must be someone." He seems to have discovered it and dodged it, but there is no trace of them. Should we send someone to look for it? No need, that person's strength must be pretty good. We don't specialize in close combat, so they'll watch carefully and lock onto us as long as someone appears. No matter who he is, we'll kill him first. This guy is so powerful, even the leaves of the demon forest are red. If he could enter, would he be able to find us? What are you afraid of? The arrowheads of our arrows are infused with chaotic force. As long as he appears, our 3,000 hidden bows will definitely shoot him out of the hornet's nest. Didn't leader say that? Other than the leader and the great clan elder, there is no one in our Super Yuan Mountain that can withstand our 3,000 hidden bows. That fellow is not as strong as our leader. Oh right, I heard that grand elder has gone missing. Shoo! Don't talk nonsense, don't bring up this matter again. These words were extremely clear to Chun Xiang. He secretly sneered in his heart. It's fine if you provoke me, but it's still the Super Yuan Mountain. Today, it's the end of your 3,000 hidden bows. If Chun Xiang stayed in the chaotic mountain for a long time, he would know how terrifying these 3,000 hidden bows were. This was a famous thing in the chaotic mountain. They would normally not be here, but they had just received an order to be responsible for guarding this entrance to the chaotic mountain. Chun Xiang released his spirit power, locking onto the hidden bows. He then took out the death-haunting arrow. He felt that the crossbow bolts released by the death-haunting arrow were much stronger than those guys. Hiding behind a rock, Chun Xiang used his divine power to lock onto over 100 hidden bows. then quietly used the death-haunting arrow S to face the people he had locked onto. Although they were all well hidden and hid behind a few things, they were clearly detected by Xianxia using his vast divine power. These 3,000 hidden bows had all used their specially trained eyes to look at every blade of grass and every tree outside the Blood Devil forest. If there was even the slightest movement, they would immediately discover it, so not long after Xianxia walked out of the forest, he was shot with a large number of hidden arrows. "You want to play dirty with me? I can be their ancestor now." Xianxia locked onto over 100 heads of hidden bows, poured his energy into the death-haunting arrow and released an arrow. The black arrows shot out, immediately transforming into 100 tiny black arrows. According to Xianxia's will, the arrows shot towards the 100 over people, all of them aiming for their heads. Under the dark night, these black arrows could be said to be completely transparent. They were all made by Xianxia using his own innate qi. A hubbub of noise came from the distance. The 100 hidden bows had all been killed. After the hidden arrows had pierced through their heads, they even caused a burst of air explosions. The corner of Xianxia's mouth rose slightly, because the 3,000 hidden bows were all panicking at this moment. They, who were known as the #1 assassination group in Super Yuan Mountain, had actually lost more than 100 people in an instant, and now they had actually been assassinated in reverse. Could it be that person from before? A black-clothed man had just finished speaking when a bloody hole appeared on his forehead, and he died on the spot. All the black-clothed men beside him were the same. When they reached the end, the hidden arrows would explode from the inside, and all of them would die with their heads exploding. Another 300. Xianxia took a deep breath and started to condense an even stronger innate qi on the death-haunting arrow. "You want to play with me? You bastards are still too young. What's the most powerful hidden bow? Go to hell." Xianxia laughed in his heart and released another arrow. After this arrow was shot, it turned into more than 1,000 arrows, and the 1,000 heads that were locked onto by his divine power were instantly exploded. More than half of the 3,000 hidden bows died in less than a moment. For the hidden bow, even if they had seen a ghost, it was still not this strange. Now, they were all panicking. Someone had already started to run away. Just as many people were planning to retreat, Xianxia's last arrow shot out, killing the rest of the hidden bow, leaving only one behind. But the other person's chest was also pierced by Xianxia's black qi arrow. Not long after, there was only one person left who could make people tremble in fear. Seeing Xianxia suddenly appearing in front of them, the remaining hidden bow knew that they had ambushed an incredible fellow. They blamed their leader and told them to ambush him here. He was the only one left, and from the looks of it, he was dead for sure. "Humph! Kill me if you have the guts. Don't expect me to ask you anything." This dark bow was actually quite stubborn, but Xianxia did not plan to get anything out of him, so he used his palm to slap him on the head, releasing the soul-absorbing devil spell to look for information that he needed from this person's memories. "You!" That person was extremely terrified. He never thought that he would have such an evil technique that could directly look through the memories in his mind. The people from the chaotic mountain are not as powerful as those ancient powers. They actually haven't tampered with your minds. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this. After Xianxia obtained what he wanted to know, he killed this person with a single palm and then set them ablaze. Xianxia gained some understanding of the chaotic mountain from that person's memories, and knew where the Super Yuan Mountain was. It was still very far from here, and he also knew that the ancient powers were in the Super Yuan Mountain, and they were even important guests. The city is built on top of these mountains. Xianxia looked at a tall mountain in the distance as he stepped on his shrinking step and ran. Under the starlight, the mountain flashed with a faint purple light. According to the person's memory, the purple light was formed because the mountain was surrounded by purple mist. The purple immortal energy was rather good, which was why a city was built at the top of this mountain. Arriving at the foot of the mountain, Xianxia saw a transmission array. There was even someone guarding it, and if he wanted to go to the top of the mountain as fast as possible, he could only use this transmission array. However, Xianxia did not use the transmission array because he needed over 100 spiritual crystal. He did not have a lot of spiritual crystal, only about 1,000, and spar were not circulating in this place. In the future, we will need spiritual crystal to go to the immortal world. I wonder if there are any reserves of spiritual crystal here? I can take advantage of this to get more. Xianxia knew that the spiritual crystal contained a lot of energy, and the immortal chi was much higher than the spirit chi in the spar, which would definitely help the deities in their cultivation. However, to the immortals, the spar did not have any help at all. Unless there was a lot of it, it would take a long time to absorb. This sacred Dan realm is a high-level world, and using spiritual crystal is a very normal thing. I wonder how good are the immortals here. Before this, Su Meiyao had always felt that the overall standards of the sacred Dan realm was a little lacking, but after coming to this chaotic mountain, she discovered that this was the only place that was more decent. Xianxia immediately flew to the top of the mountain and arrived at a platform. Because this mountain was very big, there was a lot of land on the mountain peak. Outside the city gate, there was an old man with a head full of white hair and a messy expression. He was squatting there, his body covered in filth, and he lowered his head to look at the ground. Seeing this old man, Xianxia was shocked. This man was Du Hai. If he was not familiar with Du Hai's aura, he would not have cared about believing that Dan Immortal would actually fall to such a state. Elder Du. Xianxia anxiously used his spiritual sense to send a message to Du Hai. After Du Hai heard it, he suddenly raised his head to look at Xianxia. His eyes were extremely bright, and did not match his current despondent look at all. Xianxia, Du Hai asked. Well, how are you? Yanyao is really worried for you. Xianxia heaved a sigh of relief, because Du Hai was still alive. I'm fine. I'm just looking for a chance to take revenge. Du Hai knew that Xianxia was someone to be trusted, and during this period of time, Xianxia had become very famous. Kid, why have you come to this kind of place? It's dangerous here. Don't you know? There are at least 5 old fellows in this city who are on par with me. Xianxia only came to the city to use the transmission arrays inside, and was teleported to the city closest to the Super Yuan Mountain. I want to go to Super Yuan Mountain. I am not here to cause trouble. I am here to use the transmission array. Hearing that, Du Hai's eyes became round. Are you crazy? Are you really going to look for that leader? Even I am no match for that fellow. If I were to achieve a breakthrough, that would be even better. The leaders were indeed very strong. Even Du Hai had said that. However, Xianxia believed that the Super Yuan Mountain attached great importance to that treasure. Otherwise, they would not have treated the people from the ancient powers as guests. I'm not going to look for that leader. There's a group of people that went there. I want to look for that group of people. Xianxia also wanted to go take a look at the mysterious treasure deposit. The ancient powers had spent a lot of time and effort to come here just for the mysterious treasure deposit. When they came here, they had already said that they would find resources for the demon and devil realms. However, the demon and devil realms would definitely not be able to find them now, so when they return, there might even be a war. However, the ancient powers did not seem to care about this. Du Hai asked, Are you talking about that group of people who want to bring them to search for treasures? Xianxia looked at the guards at the city's gate and said, I came to Sacred Dan realm with them. This matter, it can't be that a cloth is so long you won't be going to the city, right? I want to use the transmission array inside to go to the Super Yuan Mountain. Du Hai knew immediately that Xianxia was going to go to the treasure deposit. Seeing that Xianxia was so familiar with the chaotic mountain, he guessed that he must have made a lot of preparations. If you see Yanyao, tell him that I'm fine. Also, don't let her marry that bastard's grandson. Don't worry. Xianxia had already planned to kill the guy who wanted to marry Du Yanyao. He felt that it wouldn't be a difficult matter as long as he didn't face that leader. It required a fee to enter the city, because there was a large formation in the city that specially gathered the purple immortal energy. Every day it required many spiritual crystal to maintain it, so handing over the spiritual crystal in the city was a given. The immortal chi inside was extremely dense, but Xianxia did not stay in the city for long, and immediately rushed towards the transmission array after entering the city. The city was at the edge of the chaotic mountain, and the Super Yuan Mountain was located near the center. From the memories he had gotten from the city, he knew that the Super Yuan Mountain was even bigger and taller than this mountain, and the mountain they were in was equivalent to a Chun martial continent. At the top of the mountain there were even a few huge cities. When he came to the side of the transmission array, he realized that teleporting to the Super Yuan mountain would require 100,000 spiritual crystal. This was extremely expensive for regular people, but in the eyes of the deities, it was indeed a piece of cake. I still have 10,000 top-grade spiritual crystal. I can exchange that for quite a few ordinary spiritual crystal. Xianxia wandered around the city for more than an hour before finally finding a place to exchange for 150,000 ordinary spiritual crystal. If he was not in a hurry, he would definitely go peddle some medicinal pellets or something like that to earn more. Stepping out of the transmission array, Xianxia and more than a dozen others followed. Through the transmission array, they arrived at a city on top of the 1,000 Yuan mountain. At this time, the sky had already brightened, and the sun was rising behind a towering palace. That palace was the Tai Yuan Great Hall, which was also a place the Super Yuan Mountain S had opened to the outside world. At this time, the incomparably large mountain that Xianxia was on was called 1,000 Yuan Mountain, and on top of the mountain was a mountain. That was the Super Yuan Mountain, and the Tai Yuan Great Hall was right below that mountain. You want to go as Xianxia? This can be very dangerous. Bai Yu said. This was a world of such high level as the Heaven Realm. She was very clear on the strength of the experts there. Furthermore, Xianxia did not have a single expert following him. Prince Imperial Dragon is also here, Long Shui suddenly said. Thinking about the Prince Imperial Dragon, Xianxia couldn't help but clench his fists. Back then, the Prince Imperial Dragon brought people to kill him, putting him in a dangerous situation. However, he didn't let them off the hook. Xianxia didn't expect them to actually come out of the immortal poisoning devil forest. However, there aren't many dragons around him anymore. There are only 4 of them. Even the Emperor Dragon guards that followed him down have all died. Long Shui gloated while laughing. The Prince Imperial Dragon had 2 Emperor Dragon guards. One of them had been exterminated by the White Tiger, and the other was obviously at Immortal Poisoning Devil Forest's place. Back then, Xianxia had angered a very powerful poisonous beast. He did not know how that poisonous beast was doing either. Leader? Is it really you? A voice suddenly came out from Xianxia's mind. It was Ji Meixian's voice. Xianxia was walking on the streets, heading towards the Supreme Ocean Palace. He had originally planned to first try and use the master-servant contracts connection to find out where Ji Meixian was from, but he didn't expect to reap his rewards so quickly. Did not know what stage Ji Meixian had grown to now, but in short, Ji Meixian's special spirit sense was extremely strong, and she was a ranker who had been reborn, so she would definitely become an even stronger existence in the future. Little maid, it's me. Xianxia was extremely happy. At least he could now understand the situation of the ancient powers in detail. Sai, you still came. Ji Meixian sighed lightly. Prince Imperial Dragon is here, and that guy has a very powerful black-faced big man by his side. Once that guy hears your name, he will be very excited, and say that he wanted to swallow you whole, as if he hated you to the bones. When did you offend such a powerful guy again? Xianxia pondered for a while, then said, I have never provoked this guy before. Tell me more about this guy's situation. Ji Meixian said, he's here with the Prince Imperial Dragon. He's not someone from the Prince Imperial Dragon. Furthermore, he's on equal footing with the Super Yuan Mountain. He seems to have said that he lived in some immortal poisoning devil forest for a period of time. Xianxia's body suddenly trembled. He knew who the black-faced man was. It was very possible that he was the poisonous beast that he had angered before. That poisonous beast was cultivating inside the dragon's pearl of the poison dragon. Back then, Xianxia was chased by Prince Imperial Dragon and the others, so he split the dragon pearl in one slash and woke up the poisonous beast inside. Then he ran far away. Previously, he had planned to reveal his identity and go to the Taiyuan Palace to talk with the big shots of the ancient powers about the treasure, but now that he found out that the poisonous beast had changed to its human form and allied with the Prince Imperial Dragon, he didn't dare do it even if he were beaten to death. Xianxia said, I know who that guy is. The world is so small. I never thought that I would meet him here. Little maid, I found out that these traders are going to look for treasures. Tell me about it. This is the reason I'm here right now. Xianxia was very surprised. She did not think that Xianxia would actually know about this matter, because this matter was extremely confidential. How did you know? This matter was extremely important to the ancient powers. It was said that it was the key that allowed them to dominate Dtion. Prince Imperial Dragon knows about this as well. I feel that the reason why Prince Imperial Dragon was sent down here wasn't only for you, but also because of the many things that he needs to do. For example, right now, he is also going to that place with those ancient powers. Xianxia felt that the situation wasn't good. With Prince Imperial Dragon here, he was very worried. Furthermore, if Prince Imperial Dragon was to go, the poisonous beast that came with him would definitely go as well. How are they doing now? Xianxia's position in the White Sea Imperial Land was very high, because her strength was rising quickly. She knew a lot of things. Right now, they are all searching for the fellows of the Purple Moon Imperial Land. These big shots of the ancient powers all have a piece of stone in their hands, which they only found after entering the Sacred Dan realm according to a map. Adding all of them together, there are a total of 30 big shots of the forces that have these stone pieces, which includes the Prince Imperial Dragoness and the Super Yuan Mountainess. What? Prince Imperial Dragoness and Super Yuan Mountainess can also do it? Xianxia was very shocked. The treasure deposit was not as simple as he had imagined it to be. He felt that there would not be some kind of resource inside, but something even more powerful. Amen. They are all waiting for the people from the Purple Moon Imperial Land. As long as the Purple Moon Imperial Land arrives, we will be able to obtain 30 pieces, and they can set off immediately. Xianxia did not plan to reveal his identity to find those people, but planned to use his identity as the Purple Moon Imperial Land, so he would immediately transform into Dongfang Lingyun. Dongfang Lingyun had not been in the Purple Moon Imperial Land for long, so even if he didn't know about some of the things that had happened in the Purple Moon Imperial Land, he could understand. Leader, I think it's best if you don't come. It's really dangerous for you. Every single powerhouse here wants to hack you into 8 pieces. Xianxia said. I understand. He decided not to tell Xianxia about the stone piece in his possession for the time being. When they arrived at the entrance of the Tai Yuan Great Hall, an old man saw that he was dressed in the purple robes unique to Purple Moon Imperial Land, and immediately walked over and asked, "Are you from Purple Moon Imperial Land?" "That's right. I am Dongfang Lingyun," Xianxia purposely said in a haughty tone. Dongfang Lingyun was usually like this. He had changed into Dongfang Lingyun's appearance and had imitated his aura a lot, so he felt that Dongfang Lingyun would not be able to see through it. Long Shui had also said before that the most powerful part of this transformation was that even the Imperial Dragon race's dragons, who knew how to transform, wouldn't be able to see through it. "Please come with me." The old man was extremely polite as he led Xianxia into the Tai Yuan Great Hall. They arrived at a hall inside, where there was a transmission array. "This is the transmission array that is going to the peak of Super Yuan Mountain." The old man said one sentence and activated transmission array. In the blink of an eye, Xianxia had already arrived at the summit of Super Yuan Mountain. There was another towering palace in front of him, and a faint purple mist was surrounding it, as the sunlight shone through the purple mist and onto the palace, making it appear even more majestic. "You must have just joined the Purple Moon Imperial Land. What about the others?" The one who spoke was the elder of the Gold Sun Sacred Realm. He was currently the leader of the Gold Sun Sacred Realm. Xianxia recognized him, and currently, many people were rushing out of the hall. Xianxia saw the familiar faces of Xianxia and Prince Imperial Dragon, as well as the black-faced burly man that Xianxia spoke of before. The others? All dead. Xianxia sighed. "Did you get the stone?" the Jinyang leader asked. "Got it." Xianxia did not take it out. He was worried that he would be killed by these big shots because he was a small fry. To activate the Purple Moon Imperial Land stone pieces, you need the innate chi unique to the Purple Moon Imperial Land. You just started training in it, and you can already use it. The Gold Sun leader was very concerned about this because there were only a few people who came from the Purple Moon Imperial Land, but now there was only this little piece of information. Xianxia's heart suddenly jumped, and then he said indifferently, "All right." He then took out the purple stone piece and poured the purple innate chi into it. The stone piece started to shine with a purple glow, which made everyone heave a sigh of relief. But they were very surprised that Dongfang Lingyun was able to do it. They knew that Dongfang Lingyun had only just entered the Purple Moon Imperial Land, and he had already grasped Purple Moon Imperial Land's Purple Moon innate chi. Xianxia had killed a Purple Moon at Heaven Thunder Purgatory and took out the Purple Moon's Heaven Pellet. Now he was secretly using the Purple Moon innate chi inside the pellet. Now he understood that not only did he need the stone pieces, he also needed someone who knew how to use the appropriate innate chi. He didn't need to worry that these people would kill him and steal the Purple Moon stone pieces. How did the others die? Leader Bai Hai asked. He was a hunchbacked old man. The others also wanted to know why only Dongfang Lingyun was able to survive. Chun Xiang secretly looked down on them, and only now did these people remember how other people had died. After getting that piece of stone, we met a few people. These people claimed that they are from some divine devil cult, and said that they wanted to kill people like us. What? A golden light suddenly flashed, bringing with it a very dense aura of primal chaos, causing everyone to feel astonished. The person who suddenly flew out from the hall and grabbed onto Chun Xiang's lapel. Chun Xiang was extremely shocked. The man in front of him was a handsome middle-aged man with a mustache. His strength was actually so powerful, even more powerful than Primordius. He was certain that the middle-aged man was Super Yuan Mountain's leader. Where did the divine devil cult you just mentioned appear at? What do they look like? Super Yuan sect leader stared into Chun Xiang's eyes and asked loudly. It could be seen that he was extremely concerned about this matter. Dongfang Jing and her father were being besieged by people who claimed that they were from the divine devil cult. Only Dongfang Jing was able to escape, so Chun Xiang asked Yan Xilan and the other girls about the matters of the divine devil cult. That was why he was able to say it now. He wanted to see if anyone here knew about it, but he didn't expect such a big fish to burst out. Chun Xiang told the Super Yuan sect leader everything he knew. Super Yuan sect leader released Chun Xiang with a stern expression and spoke to the crowd. Do you know what a divine devil cult is? Most of the people here were great leaders from the heaven realm, and they all shook their heads. Prince Imperial Dragon frowned slightly and said, could it be that the guy established the sect with the fusion of the divine way and the devil way? He claimed to be the heavenly slave. Everyone had just heard from Chun Xiang that those people from the divine devil cult seemed to have specially killed those with heaven-defying inheritances. For example, those from the Tong Tian aristocratic family. Heavenly slave. It's been a long time since I've heard this name. Super Yuan sect leader closed his eyes and took a deep breath. My royal father once said that the heavenly slave was only one person, but his strength is as strong as the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord was back then. Prince Imperial Dragon's words shocked everyone. If this kind of person calls himself heavenly slave, then the reason he created this divine devil cult is to do things for the heavens? Specialize in killing those who go against the heavens? Are we all going to suffer? Super Yuan sect leader didn't doubt Chun Xiang's words in the slightest. There weren't many people who knew about the existence of divine devil cult, but since Chun Xiang was able to say it, it was likely that he had really met one. Humph? What bullshit heavenly slave? I'm not afraid of something that claims to be a servant, the black-faced man said. Three Horns Dragon King, what do you think about your current strength compared to Dragon Emperors? The Dragon Emperor he was talking about was naturally the father of the Dragon Emperor that was in charge of the Imperial Dragon race right now. Chun Xiang was very surprised. The guy he released from the poisonous beast dragon orb was actually also a dragon. Now he knew why this dragon was with the Prince Imperial Dragon. You mean to say, the strength of the heavenly slave is the same as the Dragon Emperor? Three Horns Dragon King asked. That's right. Everyone present were all panicking. If someone with the same strength as Dragon Emperor wanted to kill them, wouldn't that be like crushing an ant? Only the Prince Imperial Dragon was very calm, because the only power that could resist the heavenly slave was their Imperial Dragon race. Three Horns Dragon King did not say anything. He believed that he was very strong in this group of people, but compared to Dragon Emperor, he did not dare be so arrogant. Otherwise he would have killed Prince Imperial Dragon long ago. We will rest for today and start our journey tomorrow. The divine devil cult has appeared. Let's move quickly. Super Yuan sect leader sent people to bring Xianxia to rest, and after leaving the man place, Xianxia secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He was not seen through. Once Xianxia entered the room, he immediately laid on the bed to rest. He was extremely nervous just now. Little naughty dragon, do you know of that divine devil cult? When Xianxia saw that the Prince Imperial Dragon knew, he felt that Long Shui should know too. I don't know. If I knew, I would have told you. I think that this divine devil cult came here from the heaven realm, and it has something to do with the Detion crack. In these hundreds of thousands of years, those great war between three realms were probably created by them. Long Shui's guess was also something that Xianxia had thought of. Many things had been lost and many people had fallen. This was the reason why many civilizations had been destroyed, and when civilization was at its peak, a single war was equivalent to the destruction of the world. Then what about Three Horns Dragon King? What kind of person with strength can be called the Dragon King? Xianxia knew that this Three Horns Dragon King hated him to death. He definitely could not be captured by this guy. It should be an existence equivalent to an immortal king. It should be around the same strength as that Heaven Thunder Devil Lord. Long Shui said. So you mean you are one step away from becoming a Dragon Emperor? Xianxia never thought that this guy would be so powerful. However, I am different. In the future, I will definitely become a Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord. But first, I have to get rid of that annoying grandson, Long Shui said. Xianxia felt that Long Shui's parents were definitely very strong. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given birth to this little abnormal dragon. At dawn, Xianxia arrived at the main hall early. Everyone took out the stone pieces and formed a map. Xianxia realized that the stone pieces were all of different sizes and colors, and there were some that were circular or triangular, but when all the stone pieces were combined, they could form a complete map. From the mouth of those big shots, Xianxia found out that having a complete map was the first step. To get to that place, he still needed to activate the stone pieces and open the door to that place before he could finish his second step. He was representing the Purple Moon Imperial Land now, and he was also the weakest. If he reached that place after he lost all his value, would he be killed by these people? Xianxia knew very well what kind of crap these big shots of the ancient powers were. If it was treasures, it would be better to split them with one less person. After memorizing the map, everyone kept the stone pieces and started their journey. As Xianxia was a small child, he could only walk at the back. In the eyes of this group of people, he was merely a tool to let them find the treasures. Although it was like this, Xianxia knew that this group of people would definitely protect him. If he died, this group of people would not be able to think of obtaining anything from that place. The place we are going is the Chaotic Mountain? An old man asked. Yes, although we stayed in the Chaotic Mountain for a long time, we never knew where the Chaotic Mountain was. That was a huge boulder that came down from the primal chaos dimension, and we didn't know what our ancestors did in there or what powerful things they found there, which was why they hid the Chaotic Mountain, the Super Yuan sect leader said. Xianxia was shocked in his heart. He's actually going to find the Chaotic Mountain. He should be on that map. Super Yuan sect leader brought along 3 elders and a young man. One of the elders was his son, and that young man was the one who wanted to forcefully marry Du Yenyao, the grandson of Super Yuan sect leader. There were many youths following them, but Super Yuan sect leader's grandson was a little dishonest at the beginning, wanting to hook up with Ji Meixian and the Qin family's heavenly daughter, Qin Yao. However, after being stared at by Super Yuan sect leader, he no longer dared to act rashly. In the past, Peach Blossom Imperial Land was not a traitor, so they did not come. Furthermore, there were many traitors in the past. Everyone split up and used the Super Yuan Mountain's transmission array to arrive at a forest. Xianxia didn't know where he was right now, but he was sure he was still in the Chaotic Mountain because the immortal energy was different from other places. This forest is very dangerous. In the end, don't fly high into the sky, or else the vicious beasts below will find out. Super Yuan sect leader knew this place very well, and to find this Chaotic Mountain, they had to pass through this forest. What's there to be afraid of? Three Horns Dragon King disdainfully said. If there are any fierce beasts, I'll eat them. The fierce beasts here are no ordinary fierce beasts. We usually call them primal chaos beasts, and they are all fellows who can use the power of primal chaos. Some of them can even use fire of chaos. There are even some that can release super old poison. You should know that most of those super old poison came from the primal chaos realm. The Super Yuan sect leader said. Xianxia had always been extremely curious about the primal chaos realm, but no one could tell him what kind of place it was. However, he did have one of the key things that led to the primal chaos realm, and that was the 7 chaos fire tokens. Walking in this mountain forest with his enemies made Xianxia feel weird, and at the same time reminded him of the long-tongued monster in Blood Devil Forest. Leader, we have just received news that all 3,000 of our hidden bows have died. One of the clan elders standing beside Super Yuan sect leader said in a serious tone. Super Yuan sect leader frowned and stopped. He clenched his fists and said, "Send the message back. We must find out who did it and use all the power we have. I want to know who was so bold as to kill all of our hidden bows." Xianxia snickered in his heart. He was extremely secretive at that time, and these people could not find out about it. "Grandfather, could it be that old fellow from Du family?" a young man asked. "I'm not sure, but it's very possible that it's him. Not many people have that kind of strength. Furthermore, our great elder and the 2 elders have been missing for a long time. It is very possible that this is related to what happened outside Heaven's sacred city." Super Yuan sect leader snorted and continued to lead the group on their journey. Many people could tell that this Super Yuan mountain had definitely suffered greatly. If not for the fact that they were looking for the chaotic mountain that had been missing for so many years, this Super Yuan sect leader would have personally investigated this matter. What no one knew was that the person who caused him, the Super Yuan mountain, to suffer such a huge loss was actually among them. All the big shots here had secretly greeted them, but they had already decided to kill Dongfang Lingyun. As long as they opened the door, they would immediately take action, and at that time, even Purple Moon Imperial Land would not know that it was them who did it. In order to allow this Dongfang Lingyun to safely reach that place, the crowd had to let him walk in the middle. Xianxia was currently thinking what kind of expression this group of old fellows would have if they knew his true identity. After a long time, Xianxia realized something strange. It was that some of the young people that came with him would sneakily glance at him. However, after they did, they no longer looked at him. Even Ji Meixian was the same. Xianxia suspected that those big shots were already secretly sending messages to these juniors, instructing them to do something. It was very possible that they were targeting him. This bunch of fellows, are they really going to destroy the bridge after crossing the river? Damn it, you better not attack me. Xianxia cursed in his heart. Not long after he left, these guys called out to him in secret, wanting to discuss how they would deal with him. Long Shui also saw it and said, "That Super Yuan sect leader is extremely familiar with this area. He has always taken the route of intentionally avoiding some powerful beasts in the primal chaos. How about this? Let's use the Heaven Tour method. We can use the wind to find some of these beasts and lure them over. At any rate, when the time comes they will protect you." Hehe, that's a good move. When the time comes, I will ask little maid to see what kind of order she received. Xianxia secretly gave Long Shui a big thumbs up, then activated his Heaven Tour method to search for the nearby beasts that were hidden in the primal chaos. He also wanted to see what those beasts looked like. There weren't many beasts in the place, so the Super Yuan sect leader led the way to bypass the places where the beasts were frequent. However, Long Shui quickly found a group of beasts in the distance and used her divine power to enrage the leader of the group of beasts. "We'll be arriving soon. There's a pack of snow-white wolves. There's a very large one, and we can also use the power of chaos. Be careful later." Long Shui said somewhat excitedly. "I will pay attention." They were not small in size, and as they ran, they caused the ground to shake. They were not weak either, and from the power that Xianxia could tell, the giant white wolves were stronger than any of the Nirvana realm beasts. What's going on? There shouldn't be any chaos vicious beasts here. Super Yuan sect leader was very confused when he saw that a pack of wolves was rushing towards them. "Do you want to make a move? I can kill these guys myself," Three Horns Dragon King said. He really wanted to see how powerful these beasts were. Super Yuan sect leader said, You and I will drag these fellows and the rest quickly leave. Faster! Super Yuan's sect leader bellowed and punched a white wolf that was pouncing towards him. The power of chaos flowed out from his fist and struck the white wolf's head. Woo woo! The white giant wolf howled and was sent flying, crashing into a stone mountain. It then flew out again, releasing waves of angry howls, its mouth spraying out a burst of chaotic force that turned into white light, flying straight towards Super Yuan's sect leader. Super Yuan's sect leader dodged aside. The strand of chaotic force drilled into the ground and exploded below. The earth trembled violently as a deep fissure appeared. Everyone's expressions changed. Although the Super Yuan sect leader was powerful, they could not kill that white wolf with a single punch. More than 10 white wolves were rushing over from behind as well. Seeing how powerful these beasts were, everyone immediately left the place. Three Horns Dragon King let out a roar and grabbed at a white wolf that was pouncing towards him. His palms suddenly turning black, turning into a dragon claw filled with black chi. The poisonous gas was deep. He originally thought that his sharp claws could pierce through the white wolf's chest, but he did not expect that he would only grab a handful of fur. Everyone had long since left, but Xianxia and Long Shui were still paying attention to the beasts. Seeing how terrifying the attacks and defenses of the beasts were, they secretly decided that they would like to provoke more of these things. Why is he so powerful? If any one of them were to run out, the consequences would be unthinkable. Xianxia exclaimed. These primal chaos beasts shouldn't be able to leave this range, otherwise their power will disappear. These primal chaos beasts must have been affected by some sort of power to have the power of chaos. Long Shui observed very carefully. She discovered that there was a limit to the chaotic beasts and their energy consumption was very fast, so these beasts could use the chaotic force to make their attacks stronger and at the same time, form a very strong defense. Super Yuan sect leader and Three Horns Dragon King were also very strong. After fighting with more than 10 of these terrifying huge wolves, other than being a little flustered, they did not have any injuries. Furthermore, those white huge wolves were also beaten up by them from time to time. Xianxia swam to the side of a giant tree. Suddenly he saw a weak golden light and shouted, "I found a golden rhinoceros. Then hurry and lure them over," Long Shui said excitedly. Xianxia immediately used his god power to harass this golden rhinoceros, and very quickly, it angered this fellow that was as big as a small mountain. As it angrily followed Xianxia's god power into charging over. The strongest people come out and block them. Elder Hua, bring them to a safe place. Quickly. The one who spoke was Super Yuan sect leader who was battling against the huge white wolves from afar. The crowd instantly turned into chaos. Many of the powerhouses did not want to face that terrifying rhinoceros, but there was nothing they could do. The weaker members of the younger generation followed the Super Yuan Mountain Elder Hua and ran in the same direction. "Little maid, it's me." Xianxia suddenly transmitted his voice to Ji Meixian, causing Ji Meixian to be extremely surprised. But she did not know where Xianxia was. "I didn't expect that you would still come." Before, Ji Meixian did not think that Xianxia would come, but she did not think that he would actually follow secretly. Until now, she did not suspect that Xianxia had mixed into the crowd. She only believed that Xianxia had followed secretly. "What's your next plan? I have observed you and found out that many of the homelands seem to have secretly given you youngsters some orders." Xianxia asked. "It said that there is a big door that will let us kill Dongfang Lingyun once the gate is opened. First, it's us juniors making a move. If Dongfang Lingyun attacks again, the old guys will attack him together." "All right," Ji Meixian said. "Because Dongfang Lingyun is here on behalf of the Purple Moon Imperial Land. They do not want Dongfang Lingyun to take away the things that the Purple Moon Imperial Land should have, but only Dongfang Lingyun is able to activate the stone pieces on the Purple Moon Imperial Land." Xianxia secretly scolded the group of fellows. Fortunately, he had been careful enough to stay out of this mess. This was just as he had guessed. These people really wanted to kill him in the end. Ji Meixian did not know that her master was Dongfang Lingyun. A fierce battle had already broken out behind them, causing the whole forest to rumble. The earthquake never stopped, the beasts roared continuously. It was all because of Xianxia and Xianxia. Amongst the 100 or so people, The strongest were probably the Prince Imperial Dragon and the few dragons beside him, followed by the Elder Hua from the Super Yuan Mountain. This made Xianxia's killing intent rise, and his target was the grandson of the Super Yuan sect leader, but he did not have absolute confidence. The intense battle lasted for more than an hour, before Three Horns Dragon King and the big shots of the ancient forces were the first to return. Other than Three Horns Dragon King, they were all out of breath, and after that, Super Yuan sect leader also returned, allowing them to heave a sigh of relief. These beasts are very difficult to kill. They are invulnerable to swords and spears, and their impenetrable S can only exhaust their power, allowing them to escape on their own. If the arrogant Three Horns Dragon King said that, then it could be seen how scary those beasts were. If not for these strong warriors, they would have died a long time ago. We need to leave this place as soon as possible. The beasts here are abnormal, and the path we're taking usually doesn't have any beasts. I've been here many times, but this time, there are so many of them. She was worried that Xianxia would be found out by the Super Yuan sect leader, but in her heart, she admired Xianxia a lot. He had actually followed them to this place in secret, and had not been discovered yet. Before, when Super Yuan sect leader thought that this road was absolutely safe, he decided to not worry about bringing these juniors over. But now, he regretted it a little. If some powerful things were to appear at the back, it would be very troublesome. He really wanted to send these juniors back immediately. But, if he went back, he might encounter even more chaos beasts. The Super Yuan sect leader and the Three Horns Dragon King should be the strongest ones here. When the Three Horns Dragon King and the Prince Imperial Dragon are together, the Prince Imperial Dragon will also have a share of the treasures here, and he will definitely take action. It seems that I need to concentrate. If I see anyone attacking me, I should use form displacement transposition to counter them. Xianxia felt that this was the best way, because the speed of the shadow shape transformation was very fast. If he succeeded, he could even kill one more person. Xianxia had also become more well-behaved. Both he and Long Shui had noticed that there were a lot of beasts in the vicinity of this place, so if they were to attract a single beast, then a large group of beasts would definitely charge in from all directions. At that time, even he would be in trouble. If this fellow did not lead the way, no matter how strong I am, it would be very difficult for me to pass through this area. This chaotic mountain is truly terrifying. Long Shui said. This was also the reason why Super Yuan sect leader did not fly in the sky. Furthermore, if one was in the air, it was very likely that they would be discovered by the beasts on the ground and be attacked from all sides. This was also the reason why Super Yuan sect leader was not flying in the air. They had been traveling quietly for more than 10 days, but they had not finished even half of the journey. They were only able to travel a little bit, and were still quite a distance away from their destination. The trees around us have changed. They're different now, Long Shui suddenly said. How is it different? Xianxia asked. All the trees on the way were tall and dense, and the trees here were the same. He did not see any difference. You are still too tender after all. The roots of all the trees here are very long, and the ones that enter underground are emitting a very rich essence of nature. Didn't you fuse with Caomu Heavenly Dan before? Feel it and take a look, Long Shui said. Xianxia released his god power and penetrated deep into the ground. As expected, he could clearly feel the rich wood energy slowly flowing towards a certain direction, as if something was absorbing the wood energy. Good stuff. Xianxia was immediately sure that there were usually some very high-grade medicinal ingredients in this kind of situation. Xianxia continued to use his divine power to track the direction of the essence, searching for the end of it. Found it! Xianxia immediately locked onto a stalk of green grass under a big tree. It looked like this grass was not anything special, but the vitality of the surrounding trees were all devoured by this grass at an extremely fast speed. It should be something similar to the Caomu Heavenly Dan. Xianxia could see that this was not a pill that could be refined, so he immediately went forward and ran towards the tree, and everyone stared at him. Someone wanted to shout at him to follow the group obediently, but he suddenly bent down to pick a small blade of grass. At this moment, a shocking scene appeared. Seeing this spiritual herb, everyone's first reaction was, this was definitely not an ordinary thing. Even though the bead grass was running really fast, Xianxia chased after it, grabbed it, and stuffed it into his mouth. Seeing this, everyone cursed in their hearts. Such a good thing was actually eaten by him just like that. Many of the big heads wished that they could cut open Xianxia's stomach and take out the mysterious grass.